Hello, Michelle Wennis with Green Woman and Your Childbirth. I'm sorry I disappeared a little while. We have been doing okay, and I have to say I have been more myself than ever, walking almost at the same pace most of the time. Sometimes very, very briefly get winded, but not at all like before. So, in fact, I started driving a few days ago, so this is, let's see, it'll be 5 weeks tomorrow. And I drove on Wednesday up to a friend's place for something for the guys that she's been driving them to the last few weeks, but I was able to just give it a shot. And it was a 25-minute drive over, chilled out for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15, and then while the guys played music, and then I drove back, and that was good. And then the next day was very different. We had few things on our plate, and then the guys got poison ivy, and I had to run them individually back and forth to the Minute Clinic. Just me. We were down to one car. My car that I normally drive had a dead battery, and not only that, it had a flat tire, and not only that, it had a flat spare. So my poor husband, I don't know how this guy just keeps going steady. I mean, God has given that guy ridiculous amounts of perseverance, but he just does what he has to do. And together we figured out how to get them places, but I literally drove between all the driving I had to do on my second day of driving. I think I hit places like, I think I drove 9 separate locations, and it was from like 8:15 in the morning until late, probably 7 at night, because we had to hit the Minute Clinic and, grab the battery before it closed. I had to pick up Eric from 30 minutes away from there, so it was nuts. The boys had really a bad case of poison ivy, really bad case of poison ivy, so it's under control. We have steroids that we have them on, and they're doing a lot better. So anyway, that's the update for now, and we're hanging in there. So I did ask the Lord for perseverance and endurance, because once the poison ivy hit, I thought it was contagious and that it was spreading and that I was going to get it. And again, I did not want to end up back in the ER. There's other stuff too. Cole almost ended up at the ER. He had some chest pains from a terrible face plant. He was doing some testing, the Iowa tests that we do every year as homeschoolers. We try to see where the guys are at, and academics wise, so we can bone up the following year. Anyway, he fell flat on his face, and he didn't feel the muscle pain. I don't know if he pulled it. It must have been until that evening, and he was like a woman in contractions. Its spasms were horrible. Eric almost took him to the ER at 11:30 at night. Can you imagine? That would have been Eric's 3rd trip back to the hospital. I wouldn't have been able to go because I've been trying to stay away from large crowds, and there's no way I could go hang out at an ER for hours and hours. And thankfully, once he switched positions, it went away. But initially, we asked a nurse. We have access to a 24-hour nurse through our insurance, over the phone. She assessed him, and she's like, he's got to go to the hospital. But then we started to get him ready, and when he got up, he said, it doesn't hurt anymore, and the spasms did stop. But he was just in a really bad position for the spasms. It was just inviting the spasms when he was on my recliner, but when he stopped bending forward, it literally went away, and the next day he's hopping around like there's nothing going on. But so it's been quite interesting. There was a ringworm scare. I thought my dog had ringworm, so I was by myself, my mom was away, Eric was away for the first time backpacking with Nico, and I said, it'll be a great weekend, it'll be fine, don't worry. And then, I saw all these red marks on my doggy's belly, and somehow I was able to manage, and this is when I was super fatigued still, to roll up all the rugs, wash all the pillows and blankets that fell on the floor, because this ringworm is really contagious, and it turned out he had something else, collarettes. Thankfully, a friend was able to take me to the vet to confirm that, but that was crazy, because I literally had to I think I ended up mopping too, and I was just by myself, with Cole, who had just had a cold, so I just nursed him by myself, and I did not want to catch a cold, and I managed not to with homeopathics and essential oils diffused in the air, and I was able to help him. But so it's been a whirlwind. And God is faithful because it just only brings you closer to Him. So you got to look at these terrible things that happen, that we see with our eyes. Oh, what's next? Why me? I can't believe it. And just realize, look, there's only one thing to do. You cry out to Him, and you ask for what you need, and He gives it to you. So I asked for endurance, and I got to drive 9 times to the places I needed to go yesterday. He got me through there. So once the steroid cream and the steroids were in our boys' systems, everything died down. So nothing is permanent. Nothing is hopeless. You got to just reach out, and He'll be there. So I'm past that. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but I know it's going to be from the Lord, and it'll always be blessed. So that's it for now, and hope you're all doing well. 5 weeks post-op. Nice little update there. Lots of bumpy things on the road, but He always pulls us through. So just wanted to share that, and just remember, there's always a blessing. There's always a blessing in everything. You got to find it, you got to be open to it, and keep moving forward. And I guess that's it. Michelle Winnes, Green Woman, and your childbirth. Have a blast. Bye.